Kim Porter put her life. Kim done that. She done that.
His death is why I do what I do.
Jaguar Wright, a bold truth teller and an often overlooked artist, recently took to social media with a powerful message her life is now in danger. Known for her candid, emotional interviews where she calls out big names in the industry, Jaguar's usual strength has turned to fear. Her voice shook as she openly asked for help and protection, worried that speaking her truth might now come at a deadly cost.
Unnecessary court fees and litigations because Jay-Z wants me broken, stopped, or under his control. And it ain't gonna happen, Sean. I'm never gonna be under your control. Never. You need to learn how to control your wife and her friends and their mouths. Because you got Beyonce in the Beehive looking real dumb right now. 5 million unfollowed, and that number's gonna go up with every image in one of those freak-off tapes. And God help, if anybody here how that really talks about people with her, they'll start unfollowing by the tens of hundreds. Again. And they should. Because the truth is, the only reason they were following was because of the witchcraft and the spells that were being pushed out through the media. Y'all ain't fans because y'all really love them and y'all really think they're the best. You're fans because you fell for the hype. And they are hypes. I know I can sing. I've been able to do that my whole life. And they've been trying to stop me my whole career. Because see, unlike Beyonce, I'm not willing to hurt people to get famous. See, that's the part of the story that they're not telling y'all. That the more terrible you are, the more they'll protect you.
Jaguar Wright has issued a disturbing warning, suggesting her life could be in danger. She referenced a 2011 incident, alleging that Jay-Z, who she claims is close to Diddy, was involved in silencing his former mistress, Kathy White.
When I say Corey, I'm talking about Kathy White.
Oh yeah, that's what I was about to ask.
Jay-Z's pregnant mistress, who died of an imaginary fucking aneurysm. Just like the woman who was best friends with Kim and Kimura, who wrote the book Bling and died as soon as it made the bestsellers list. Who the was these people supposed to go to? You can't go to the boss because the boss is f***ing you. And the boss's boss don't get no f***. Can't go to the authorities. They're all bought and paid for. You could try to get a special prosecutor, but they'll just pay somebody to reassign him to another case. Where the f*** you go when you get f***ed over by the industry? Nowhere. That's where you go, nowhere. Which is where people like me step in. You right, I go to Diddy parties. So walk mother out! Cause ain't nobody stopping me when I come.
Sources suggest that Kathy White's death may not have been a mere accident. It was possibly a calculated assassination. Allegedly, she was getting ready to disclose details about her past relationship with Jay-Z, a revelation he reportedly wanted to prevent. The circumstances and timing of her death have raised suspicions, with many believing it was a planned effort to keep certain secrets buried.
On the 28th of August 2011, the celebrity tabloids were buzzing as Beyoncé would step onto the red carpet during the MTV Music Awards, holding her tummy, something she would later also do at the end of her performance during the award show. This was ultimately the announcement of her pregnancy with her and Jay-Z's first baby, Blue Ivy. The news about Queen Bee's pregnancy would be so popular that it would actually break a record on Twitter, getting the most tweets per second ever at the time. But unfortunately, Unfortunately, as Bey and Jay celebrated the news of bringing a new life into the world, another life was about to be lost. A few days after the MTV Awards, on the early morning hours of September the 1st, at around 3 a.m. New York time, or about 12 a.m. Los Angeles time, Kathy White's good friend Shanoa Maxwell would tweet to her other good friend Nikki Chu, telling her to call her as soon as possible, as there was an emergency concerning one of their friends. Then, later that morning, her friends would confirm the sad news that Kathy White had died almost exactly 1 year after the rumor about her and Jay-Z's relationship had started. The next day, the blogs and forums would begin to post the story, reporting the cause of her death to be an aneurysm at the young age of 28, with these articles also recapping the rumors about Jay and Kathy's relationship, as well as predicting Illuminati conspiracy theories that naturally would follow. This angle was also immediately predicted by the first commenters on Lipstick Alley, who had started their own threads reacting to the news, commenting that YouTube conspiracy videos must already be in the works. But other commenters were also quick to point out that Kathy's death so soon after Beyoncé's pregnancy announcement did appear to be rather suspect. This would be followed by one user jokingly suggesting that Jay-Z had gotten Kathy as part of some sort of dark Illuminati ritual. And sure enough, the Illuminati and other conspiracy-minded people would soon enter the chat, slowly beginning to build a theory that Jay-Z had in fact gotten Kathy out the way, perhaps to stop her from exposing something major. One even more wild theory has circulated online that it was in fact Beyoncé who arranged the of Jay-Z's mistress, with this theory being mainly based on lyrics to Beyoncé's song Daughter, where she sings about her violent thoughts in the face of infidelity. And when you look at the lyrics of Daughter, they do paint a disturbing picture. From the first lyric, Beyoncé sings about being covered in blood with a body laid out on a filthy floor, a possible reference to Kathy White's apartment being a mess, strewn with clothes, as was claimed in one of the Diary of a Street Kings articles, which cited former friend Claudia. In the song, Beyoncé goes on to explain the crime scene, saying that a bathroom attendant let her in because she was a fan. Later on the song, seemingly hinting at her desires to even kill Jay-Z himself after saying she's bottled her feelings up like bottle service broads. Another interesting line when you remember the pictures from the party that Jay-Z and Kathy White attended, which depicted Kathy holding a bottle of champagne. Now, more level-headed conspiracy theorists have pointed out the simple fact that a healthy 28-year-old dropping dead from an aneurysm is incredibly unlikely, but not impossible. Others would ponder whether the famously ruthless Jay-Z would really do something this awful to protect his image, while some pointed out that in the midst of the mistress rumors, she had moved cities and begun acting paranoid on Twitter. And of course, some tinfoil hat-wearing commentators went off the deep end, calling this a human sacrifice. Although to be fair, most of the people on the forum in these early days would not find these conspiracies believable at all. But of course, nobody would come out as hard as our boy Jasper from Hollywood Street King, who would soon drop his now deleted blog post titled The True Story Surrounding the Death of Jay-Z's Mistress, Kathy White. In the post, Jasper would claim that his source inside the NYPD this time had told him that Kathy's cause of death was at this point considered unknown and apparently suspicious. However, in Jasper's quote of what exactly the NYPD had told him, suspicious is shockingly nowhere to be found, with the police essentially explaining to him how the cause of death could not yet be confirmed as no autopsy or toxicology report had been conducted. Jasper would also mention that the police had told him that the address where the 911 call about Kathy came from was an apartment at 130 West 19th Street, and she was later taken to the Beth Israel Hospital where she passed away. Jasper would then move on to discussing what he had recently heard from his other sources, with one of these sources alleging that Kathy had recently been contacted by a journalist from a major tabloid newspaper, and although she had apparently been tight-lipped about everything, she had then allegedly contacted Jay-Z to tell him she was planning on going public with their affair. Interestingly, as we'll learn a bit later, this part about Kathy being contacted by a journalist from a major tabloid soon before her death would indeed be seemingly confirmed as true by the journalist herself many years later, with this being yet another example of the ways that actual insider information in Jasper's reporting was seemingly getting randomly mixed in with sensationalist and what often appeared to be purely incorrect information. In a first version of the blog that has only been saved on the Lipstick Alley thread concerning Kathy's death, Jasper would also appear to allege that he had been told that Kathy was a high-priced call girl, essentially an escort. However, Jasper would seemingly later delete this salacious claim, whilst alleging on Twitter that this information was about to come out through a major tabloid. Meanwhile, Kathy's friends on social media were also increasingly beginning to react to her death, reflecting on how short life can really be, and to the blogs, again labeling her as Jay-Z's alleged mistress, with Claudia in particular, who had seemingly been contacted by some of these blogs and other tabloid media, coming out strongly to deny that Kathy was ever intimately involved with Jay-Z, even going on to say that she was being stalked at the time and complaining that people were really digging into the rumors and she'd spend all day defending her fallen friend. Interestingly, Claudia's tweets would also reveal that her and Kathy had experienced a falling out at some point, as Claudia would explain how they'd had a phone call about a week before Kathy's death and resolved their misunderstanding, with this revelation understandably raising some theories that the falling out might have happened as a result of the rumors beginning to spread about Kathy and Jay, and the allegations that Claudia had actually talked bad about Kathy behind her back, with one forum post suggesting that Claudia had badmouthed Kathy out of jealousy, even going on to suggest that Claudia had been the one who outed Kathy and Jay-Z's relationship, with that being a possible reason for their fall.
From Jaguar Wright's point of view, Her fears are deeply real. Her pleas for help go beyond drama. They stem from a genuine sense of threat from someone she considers as ruthless as Diddy. This isn't just a warning, it's an urgent cry for protection against powerful figures she believes would stop at nothing to silence anyone who challenges their reputation.
The singer Jaguar Wright, who used to work with Jay-Z for a moment as a backup singer in the 2000s, was now all over the internet attacking Jay, with her undeniably entertaining interviews where she would claim to expose all kinds of dark secrets about her former colleagues, which ultimately gained millions of views.
You want to know what makes Diddy being publicly shamed like this so left?
What's that?
Sean Carter is worse.
Uh-oh. Oh, man.
Sean Carter is just as bad as the diddler. And I know that for a fact. I got the scars to prove it.
So, there's been so many people on the internet trying to figure out where you are. They're watching you. They're doing all types of stuff trying to figure you out.
You want to know what a box cutter feels like going into your skin and ripping you? I can tell you how it feels. Y'all ain't seen yet. That Cassie, that's nothing.
So are you trying to say like Jay-Z put hands on you?
I'm saying Sean Carter remembers everything he did to me and he's got it on tape. Just like Diddy. And they're gonna be crazy. It's gonna be the women that give him in the end.
So you say that
Jay-Z! And I think it's time for him to start speaking up about his very good friend. Just 9 months ago, you were singing his praises. All that he's done for the culture. And how you gotta be crazy like Diddy to make it. Then you didn't want to sit next to him at the Grammys. Told everybody that he had cooties. And canceled the Rock Nation brunch. Which is your favorite event. Because that's how you line up who you gonna move around next year. Like y'all did with Clarence Avant. I'm gonna get you. And I told you I would. And I'm gonna keep my word. And you're gonna pay me in full.
In one such interview with the Real Life Productions channel, Wright would even go on to claim that Kathy had been by a woman and that Diddy had a video of the.
Last question. I asked you to do this earlier, but I just want you to do it even more, go detail. What do you predict will happen next in the future? You know, it's like you see it before it happens.
Kathy White's true killer is going to be unveiled. And it's not a man. And that woman died screaming. Show him the tape, Diddy, you got it. That might buy you a little time. You should probably stop looking for plastic surgeons. Looking for a new life, new face.
Jaguar Wright has endured a devastating loss, the death of her own son. Her anger toward Jay-Z may go beyond personal grievances, as she has hinted that her son's passing wasn't accidental. She suggests he fell victim to a hidden world of exploitation and control connected to Roc Nation, Jay-Z's label. In her view, these influential figures are merciless, even when it comes to the lives of children.
Your son, he died because of your
He was targeted because he's my son. He was working on his EP. I bought Philadelphia for him. So he didn't have to sign to a company because I knew what it was going to do. He interned at Roc Nation. And they approached him to sacrifice me. He got caught up in a case. He went into the system, and then when he got out and got to the halfway house, I moved us here. I saw his death when he was 19. I moved us here to stop it, to prevent it, to avoid it. Right. And it happened anyway. And see, that's when I knew that Kanye's mom, Kanye would have never wanted Donda dead. Not even by natural causes. I was happy when he finally accepted it. Because they sacrifice your loved ones whether you agree or not. See, sometimes
You agree? And they put you in position, you know? But sometimes you disagree. And they take them anyway to show you what the harm is. You know? It's... Giovanni... His death is why I do what I do.
Kathy White wasn't the only one who may have been targeted by powerful figures aiming to keep secrets under wraps. Jamie Foxx also allegedly faced backlash after recording footage of Diddy's notorious parties, a move some believe contributed to his recent hospitalization. Jamie had shared his experiences on Joe Rogan's podcast, long before Diddy's reputation for such behavior was more publicly recognized.
And I'll never forget, he got mad at me a little bit because I would follow him, and I would actually follow him with a camera, because at that time Puff was the biggest guy in the world. You know, you couldn't even get in his parties. So the way I would get in his parties, I show up with a camera. Like, yo, Puff, you need to document this. And he turned around, what's up, Playboy? I said, yeah, let me get that, man. Ain't nobody getting it.
The troubling similarities among these cases are difficult to overlook. The deaths of Kim Porter, the hospitalizations of Jamie Foxx, and Kim Porter's ex, Albie Shore, all seem linked by an unsettling thread that feels too deliberate to be mere coincidence. These events raise serious questions and leave one wondering if there's a hidden, darker pattern at play.
So the real reason Jamie Foxx was put in the hospital was because he allegedly knew too much about Diddy's crimes. It's been alleged that Jamie would throw basketball parties with big names in rap music, including Jay-Z and Diddy. Jamie was a regular at Diddy's parties as well, and months before Cassie's lawsuit dropped, Jamie allegedly went into a coma. After coming out, he made a status update about fake friends, and many people thought it had to do with Diddy. Diddy's ex-girlfriend Kim Porter died mysteriously, and her ex-husband Albie Shore said she was running before she died, and he was working on a documentary about his life. Next thing you know, Albie Shore was mysteriously put into a coma, and when he got out, he also heavily implied it had something to do with Diddy. People are speculating that both knew too much about Diddy's crimes.
For skeptics, consider the insights of Choke No Joke, a former Arasa Ella team member who worked closely with Jay-Z. Choke revealed that Jamie Foxx, having witnessed Diddy's parties firsthand, was allegedly targeted for knowing too much. Now that Diddy is facing legal challenges, it seems Jamie might finally be able to emerge from the shadows and feel a bit more secure.
Jamie Foxx states in the special that Diddy was responsible for what happened to him, and he is the one that called the FBI on him.
It kind of makes me think about a couple things too. So we just talked about Jay-Z and Puff. There was also this allegation floating around that Diddy has set up Jamie Foxx, or that Diddy was the reason why Jamie Foxx got in the hospital. Did you hear that rumor? And what's the detail that you understood what took place? Because all of us thought it was COVID related, and I think Jamie even saw a video of him talking about he had took something and then
right,
sometime later he fell out. But what's going on with that?
Well, there was a rumor, or I can't say it was a truth because I wasn't there, but there's been a rumor that the whole time when Jamie was out for the industry insiders, Diddy had did that to him.
Okay.
He caught Jamie filming allegedly, or whatever. They told Jamie to chill. He didn't chill, and allegedly Diddy and security beat Jamie, and that's why Jamie was in the hospital, allegedly, right? But then there's the thing where they saying that they gave him some type of pill or something that knocked him out. But it all was allegedly connected back to Diddy, right? Because something happened with Diddy and Jamie. Now, more recently, Jamie has a special coming out on Netflix called What Had Really Happened Was, and I went to the taping of it. It was 3 days taping. I went to the first show, I went to the last show.
Okay.
Jamie Foxx states in this, spoiler alert, but Jamie Foxx states in the special that Diddy was responsible for what happened to him, and he is the one that called the FBI on him.
So it's got to be a joke though, right?
I don't think he was joking. Y'all can determine was he joking or not when you see the show. Cause to me, I'm a new comedian, right? I've learned and learned from game. I know when somebody's setting up a punchline, and I know when you're serious. And when he said it, I called it, and I'm the one that called it. He said, Diddy, is the one that did something to me or whatever. And I'm not going to give out, I don't want to give away his jokes or nothing, but after he said Diddy did something to me, he said, and I'm the one that called the feds on him. So everybody out here that's talking about Diageo, this, that, and the other, better go back and think about when that happened to Jamie and start looking at the chain of events.
That's deep. That's really deep. So, because I would say the timeline does reflect Jamie went down. That was last year. And then are we saying that something in response, Jamie responded and alerted whatever activity Puff had going on to shut him down as like his get back?
I wouldn't say his get back, but for his protection, Jamie was scared, right? He disappeared, right? Mm-hmm. He out now as soon as Puff went to jail, right? We see him at the game with Jerry Jones, right? Before, nobody seen Jamie. We just had these mysterious sightings of him on the boat, and then they had the fake Jamie out here, right? Then we haven't seen him. As soon as Puff went to jail, he was at the goddamn Dallas basketball.
This story reveals even more troubling layers. Consider the tragic death of Diddy's longtime partner, Kim Porter, followed by the coma of her ex-husband, Al B. Sure, who displayed symptoms eerily similar to Jamie Foxx's just months before Jamie's own hospitalization. Al B. sure had previously raised suspicions about Diddy's potential involvement in Kim's death. Are these disturbing events merely isolated, or do they hint at something far darker lurking beneath the surface?
Now let's talk a little bit about Al B, because before Kim was with P. Diddy, she was with Al B, and they had a child together. And he's been open about his conspiracies. He indirectly alleges, look at that legal protection, indirectly alleges that Kim Porter may have been. It was reported that she was sick with the flu before asking P. Diddy, the father of her 3 children, to take care of the kids to make sure they did not get sick. 3 days later, on November 15th, Kim died in her sleep from a lung infection.
A shocked and devastated Diddy spotted at the home where his ex suddenly and mysteriously died.
Kim was not found unresponsive in bed. She was discovered on the bathroom floor. If they found her in bed, then she was strategically placed there.
Kim probably told all that in her book. You understand? That up and got missing the day she died. You understand what I'm saying?
The chatter around Columbus is that Kim's family is seeking legal advice and is unequivocally in pursuit to slap Diddy with a lawsuit for wrongful.
So let's talk a little bit about this investigation and the family's belief that, P. Diddy is responsible for a wrongful death. Al B has been proposing the possibility of her death being the result of foul play and not due to complications of an illness. Even though she's 47 years old, they determined that she died of natural causes. Al B claimed that in the time leading up to Kim's death, she was running from someone or something, and that he had told her, recounted in a now deleted Instagram caption, to call the FBI. Only later did he add instead that she was running a marathon. Interesting. So he went up and saved himself there. It seems like Al B needs to watch his back, because he keeps going out and giving accountings of what had happened, and when he heard this news, he shared what his initial reaction was. Listen very closely, because this little segment is difficult to find on the internet, and it seems like he was suspicious from the start.
That he does not believe that Kim died from natural causes. The 52-year-old shared his personal thoughts on her passing after coming across the video he took following the news of her death. I was on my way to film the pre-show packages for the Soul Train Awards on BET with Tisha Campbell and Tanisha Arnold. I received a call from my PR and talent producer, Queenie Donald Johnson, asking me if I was okay and did I hear the news. I do know very clearly that Kim didn't just check up out of here all of a sudden, and it wasn't no pneumonia. That's see, this is where I'm going to get in trouble, stated Al B. Sure. Al B. went on to add, to just prior, he and Kim attended an event for their son Quincy Brown's Netflix film, The Holiday Calendar, and this was just a couple of weeks prior. He stated she was in fantastic health and well, and laughing and seeing me and Diddy's mutual exchange.
So he goes on to explain that he had just seen Kim and that she was in great spirits and she was thriving. So to hear this news, it didn't really add up. And since then, there have been so many conspiracies, but there's not a lot of consistency. I think there is a general consensus though that Kim Porter knew something that P. Diddy did not want out there. Is how much did she know and how damaging was it? Also, was she planning on writing a book and getting her secrets out there? I mean, it seems like a lot of her team were also aware of what was going on.
As if the situation weren't already disturbing enough, the autopsy reports of Kim Porter uncover strange details that go beyond just bizarre certain findings in the report, only deepen the mystery, raising more questions about what truly happened to her.
This 47-year-old woman, Kimberly Antoinette Porter, died of lobar pneumonia. And remember, lobar pneumonia is a type of pneumonia that is specifically caused by a bacteria, and in most cases, it is caused by the strep bacteria. According to reports, the summary says, Ms. Porter was reportedly not feeling well with flu-like symptoms for approximately 4 days. She recently visited Africa, but she returned about a month before she died. And she was pretty much fine until about 4 days ago. So they're kind of saying, don't blame Africa for this. It goes on to say, on November 7th, 8 days before she died, she was experiencing throat pain, which would make sense if she had strep, right? And called a physician to request azithromycin. Now, I did look up what azithromycin is, and it is an antibiotic that is used to treat bacterial infections. It will not work if you have a virus, if you have a cold, or if you have a flu, but it will work on bacteria. So she called a doctor to request azithromycin, an antibiotic. She was seen by a physician on November 12th. Okay, hold on. On November 7th, she was experiencing throat pain and called a physician to request azithromycin, but she was not seen by a physician until the 12th. 5 days went by before the doctor ever showed up and she was calling for antibiotics. That's a little bit interesting in my opinion. Maybe I'm reading it wrong, correct me if I'm wrong. So when she saw that physician, finally 5 days later when he decided to show up, or she, now I'm starting to wonder, is it the one that offed Michael Jackson? Is that man still in jail? We need to check. Did Fahim Shaheem Muhammad, or whatever his name is, send this doctor too? That's what I'm wondering. When that doctor finally bothered to show up 5 days later on the 12th, he noted that Kim had cold and flu-like symptoms, including nasal congestion. She had sweat, a mild cough, body aches, and a sore throat. Still, 5 days of sore throat. She had a temperature of 102 degrees with, look what it says, with flu and strep throat test being negative. Now, is there a difference between streptococcus bacteria in your throat and streptococcus bacteria in your lungs? Somebody who's a doctor or something comment.
What do you think? Will Jaguar Wright face the same fate as her son? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our latest content. Until next time, family, keep it real.